日本時間3月26日、米国時間25日、ロサンゼルス、ドジャースのデーブ・ロバーツ監督がチームのスーパースター大谷翔平の投球再開計画を明らかにした情報提供、スポーツネット LA、昨年受けた肘、トミー・ジョン手術と左肩の手術後、慎重にリハビリを続けてきた大谷は、いよいよ土曜日に約1ヶ月ぶりとなるブルペン投球練習を行う予定だという。ドジャースは今季、スネル、佐々木朗希、山本由伸、グラスノー、カーショーら豪華投手陣を擁しているため、専門家は、今季の大谷は100イニング以下に抑えるだろう、と分析。ロバーツ監督自身も、最優先は翔平がシーズン終盤、10月に万全の状態でプレーできること、と語り、無理をさせない方針を強調した。さらに興味深いことに、大谷はこうした調整中であっても、打撃面では依然としてリーグ最上級の存在であることに変わりはない。今季も二刀流として万全の状態でグラウンドに立つ日をファンも待ち望んでいる。Mlb、TONIGHT の最新情報を日本語字幕付きで引き続きご覧ください。
That's our way of telling you that 2 days away from opening day number 2, Nellie Fox was in there, Red Schoendienst. I looked down. I must have missed Jeets. Like Jeets, right?
It's too low, too. I must have missed him.
That your guy in there. By the way, Baseball Eve, we're coming your way. I got to get up early tomorrow, Dan. We got a leadoff spot from MLB Network Radio, 9 a.m. Eastern. Our new show, MLB Central, is on at a new time, 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by the show for the thinking fan. That's us, Dan. Noon Eastern tomorrow. Podcasts, IT, and the new national pregame show with Greg Harold and Dan, 5 o'clock Eastern time. That's coming your way. Wow, tomorrow.
I'm doing the prediction show tomorrow, so everything that I predict, everybody else should just do the opposite.
That is not true at all. Well, let's look at the top storylines of this season, what you need to know. And number one, I think everything else pales in comparison. Let's just do number one, Dodgers bid for global dominance.
Well, they already got it, don't they? I mean, I realize that once you get to the mountain, you got to stay on the mountain. It's a little harder. But, BK, those of us that are old enough, this is like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones in their prime.
Now, maybe you remember them new. I remember them old, but go ahead.
It's just crazy what they've been able to accomplish. It is like one of the most deepest roster. My 40 years, I'm not sure I've seen anything like this, and I'm not sure we're going to see anything like this again.
No, they're the defending champions, right? So they won the summer and the fall. Now they go out and win the winter. They not only, if all they did was go out and get Blake Snell, it'd be
a great offseason.
But they get Snell, they get Roki Sasaki, the #1 international free agent, and then 3 elite relief pitchers. One of them was their own, but I don't care. He was still
Tanner Scott, one of the best left-handed closers.
Right. It's unbelievable what they did. So I don't know if I've seen recently a better offseason, and for a team that won the World Series. That's what Dan, I really think they went another level this year.
Yeah, on top of it, too, they've got this incredible winning culture where players are lining up to want to go there. So it's not only that they're talented players, they're great teammates within an environment that just perpetuates a competitive nature with one another to be the very best in the game.
See, I like it. I think I'm going to do a whole thing on MLB Now. I think this is good for the game because there's a lot of parity now. I mean, we're talking there's only 3 or maybe 4 teams.
So you think the separation between them and everybody else is good?
Right. That you have a focal point, that everybody is shooting for that team. Because as you know, it's so difficult to separate yourself in the baseball ops era. Braves are excellent, right? Phillies are excellent, but there's another team way up above.
Yeah, they're as you talk about, it's like a Premier League team.
Yeah.
Within a league that doesn't have any other Premier League teams. It's incredible what they've been able to accomplish.
Now,
and it's a worldwide phenomenon, too.
Right.
It's just not within the borders of our country.
They're 2-0, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
They're already come back opening day. They're 2-0. Let's talk about the Yankees. Brian Kenny, Dan O'Dad back here on MLB Tonight. And this put out by the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani will throw a bullpen session this Saturday, according to Dave Roberts. It'll be Ohtani's first time throwing off a mound since February 25th. Again, he's coming back from elbow surgery. He's also got another surgery coming back, again, as a position player. A lot going on. Here's Dave Roberts.
So once he gets to the pen on Saturday, then I think that we'll have a better idea of what a plan looks like. And also just appreciating that it's the second Tommy John, getting ready for a major league season with the bat, with his left shoulder surgery, and really understanding that this is a long-term play for Shohei's well-being also. So making sure that we're as cautious and careful as we possibly can. And yeah, for 2025, the most important piece of this is having them be able to do both, through the end of the season and through October.
So you hear that there's a lot going on with Dave Roberts. The left shoulder, which remember from the World Series, he was sliding, he jammed that shoulder. So that had the surgery. Then he's got the elbow surgery on the right arm. He didn't pitch at all last year, of course, back in 2023. He only pitched 132 innings before missing the final month. So you tell me, again, this is the elite position player. He's the #1 hitter in the National League. What do you think the plan is to pitch him this year?
I think Dave said it. They just want him healthy and ready to go in October. So I would think it'll be somewhere less than 100 innings, and really depending upon where he's at. But this has never happened before, where you're rehabbing from Tommy John in a season when you're an elite offensive player who steals bases.
Right. Again, and there's a case to be made that since he has become such a great offensive player that maybe you're just fine. Again, given the depth and their resources, they're the #1 payroll in the game. Take a look at who they have pitching this year. They're deeper than ever before. They don't need to push him to pitch, right?
They don't for me. Well, you and I have talked about this. I love him as an offensive player, but he's going to do it because he's determined to do it. They're just going to go as slow as humanly possible so there's no setbacks.
Again, they've got Snell and Sasaki on top of Yamamoto and Glass now coming back and Kershaw back in the 5. I mean, you know, everybody can go 85 innings.
I agree.
It's a new way of doing things. No doubt. I'm Brian Kenny. Thanks for watching MLB Tonight.
Home opener is Thursday, but it's going to be quite the pregame party Friday night. Your World Series champions get their rings, and we will have it to you and have it for you live right here on Sportsnet LA. Game time is at 7 o'clock. Our pregame coverage, though, begins at 5:30. We will have all of the on-field celebration and ceremonies. If you're at the game, be sure to stop by our set in the center field plaza and say hello. Really good final tune-up this spring tonight for Dustin May. Let's hear from him with Kirsten and the media.
Dustin, just to get back out there, being back at a big league stadium, can you describe just the emotions and then obviously the success that you had out there today?
There was a lot of emotions going through the head. Definitely not as many as my first outing back, but definitely looking forward to my next one, Dodger Stadium. That one's going to hit home a little bit more. But it was really, really good to get back on a big league field, feel the energy, feel the stands, and just get back into actual, like, a big league game kind of feel.
In regard to pitching, obviously we saw a lot of the swing and miss. It seemed like even just some of the Angels were kind of locked up during some of those at-bats. Just what was working so well for you, and what does just the last week look like while the team has been gone as you've continued to build up?
Just being able to land the breaking ball. That's been my biggest thing, and basically my career. It hasn't been very many innings, but I mean, in my career, just being able to land the breaking ball opens up everything else. I mean, I move the ball a lot, and just being able to land the breaking ball in the zone opens everything else up.
Have you started to get a feel for that in the last year, working on it before obviously the esophagus issue?
Yeah, I mean, that was what I was hammering home throughout my whole rehab, was just being able to land the breaking ball, being able to strike the breaking ball. That was what I've been hammering home, because, like, if I can do that, it opens up a lot of doors, like I said. So it helps me out if I can do it, so why not try and be better at it.
Were you getting depth on it tonight? That you
yeah, I'd like the shape of the ball. The shape of the breaking ball was where I was wanting it tonight, yeah.
What do you think is a lot of that breaking ball being more consistent for you?
Just being able to understand, like, release point and, like, how I want it to break and, like, where I want it to start and stuff like that.
Is the anticipation of pitching next week at Dodger Stadium similar to the anticipation you had coming back from Tommy John, or even coming to make your major league debut? Can you describe how you feel leading up to next week?
I feel like there's going to be a lot more emotions for me because of all the time that I've had to think about it. When I first got called up for my debut, I mean, it was like a 4-day thing, so it was like kind of right on it. But for this, I mean, I was waiting for, I don't know, 13 months, and then the esophagus thing happened, and then that changed my perspective on a lot of things in life. And I'm excited. Just gonna put it that way. I'm excited.
With that being said, last time we saw you, very emotional pitcher on the mound. With that perspective that you got, and are you the same emotional, fiery type of guy, or is there a different?
I definitely have the spark inside of me, for sure. Still, like, it's definitely in there. It's starting to wake up a little bit as I'm starting to get back into games a little bit more. It was definitely very calm, collected, but as I'm starting to get back in the games and get kind of like my feeling and feet back under me, it's definitely coming back. But yeah, it's definitely going to be more on the shadowed side, but it'll come out every now and then.
Really encouraging night for Dustin May, who will be the Dodgers' 5th starter to open up the season. And let's go to the K-zone right now because he had 6 Ks in these 5 innings, James. You can break it down for us.
Yeah, I mean, he was throwing the ball well tonight. You could see he had a lot of confidence, a lot of poise out there on the mound. And I really like how Will Smith is set up for him, and I'll go into that a little bit more. But when he gets 2 strikes, you see how Will Smith is kind of set up in the middle of the plate. He's letting the movement happen, right? He knows this ball's going to move. Look at that. Set up right in the middle, ball's going away. Look at another glove. Set up right in the middle, ball goes away. You don't need to set up on the outside corner for this guy. But I did notice on the inside pitch, look how Will's set up more on the inside corner. You don't want that ball to run back over the middle of the plate, especially in a 2-2 count. But the breaking ball was nice tonight. Like he alluded to in his interview, he said, my breaking ball is what I love to get over the plate. He goes, I want to set up guys with the breaking ball so I can have that exploding fastball. As long as he can command that, he should be able to go deep into games.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the breaking pitch, being able to land it is a great pitch. For me, I would still want, you know, him to be able to command this fastball before he commands the breaking pitch. But I understand what he's saying is that he can always get back into account knowing that a breaking pitch is a pitch that, you know, can basically steal a strike, because pitchers love to be able to, when they don't want to throw a 2-0 fastball, they'd rather throw a 2-0 slider if they can throw it at will. So that's really what he's working towards, and I understand where he's coming from.
And there's so much data now, right, where like back when we played, you know, like we're getting a fastball here. We know we're getting a fastball. There's certain hitters, big, you know, 3, 4, 5 hitters, you're not getting that fastball every time. So I could see why at times he's like, I want to command this curveball early and then go to the fastball.
All right, his next start will be at Dodger Stadium, Game 2 of that series against the Atlanta Braves. Last year's parade, it was easily one of our best days as a network. It was so much fun. Let's make it happen again in about 7 more months. Prediction time with Adrian and James next.
98 wins during the regular season, pushed and tested the whole way, though. With the Dodgers 3 outs away from their 8th World Championship, from a proper celebration. Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series! With a comeback for the ages.
Oh, my gosh, what an incredible moment. I will never get tired of seeing that celebration at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees, by the way, are the last team to repeat as champions. You have to go back a quarter of a century. So answer this for me, fellas. I'll begin with you, James. The Dodgers win the 2025 World Series if what?
Yeah, I thought about this long and hard, but I'm going to say if the bullpen stays healthy. And the reason is, you know, we saw with the starters go down, sometimes you can replace those guys with trades and things like that, or from the farm system, it's a little bit easier. But it's hard to replace a great bullpen arm. And I think we've got, you know, exceptional bullpen arms out there. So I feel like if they can stay healthy and do what they've been doing the last few years, ring time.
Okay. How about for you, Adrian?
You know what? We are in a place here where we can go out on a limb a little bit. You know, I would never do this if I was in the clubhouse, but I'm going to say the Dodgers win the 2025 World Series, period. Not if.
Not if.
No, and there is going to be a bunch of things that are going to happen. I really think they have the roster. They have the depth. They have the ability to go, you know, make a move if needed. And, you know, if I have to put an if, which I'm not, but if I had to, you know how it goes. I would say if there's injuries late in the season where guys aren't able to play in the postseason. I would say that's the only reason why anything would happen. But I'm just going to go out and say, no, they're going to win the World Series.
And why not? Because they overcame so much adversity last year. So many guys were injured. They still were able to get it done. Up next, some final.
東京から凱旋したドジャース。その栄光の中心にはもちろん、野球の神、大谷翔平がいた。新シーズンの幕開け直前、本拠地ロサンゼルスに戻ったドジャースは、地元の宿敵エンゼルスを相手に鮮やかな勝利を収め、最高の滑り出しを見せている。しかしチームには不安も渦巻いていた。主力選手ムーキー、ベッツが原因不明の体調不良に襲われ、直前で試合出場を断念するという衝撃的な事態が発生。ベッツ本人も食べたものを全て吐いてしまう特能をあらわにし、体重が激減するという異常事態が報告された。ドジャースはシーズン序盤にして主力を欠く深刻な問題に直面した。だが、その暗雲を一気に吹き飛ばすほどの希望がドジャースにはあった。そう、世界が認める野球界最高の逸材、大谷翔平である。昨年のワールドシリーズでは左肩の負傷、 さらに右肘の手術という試練を乗り越え、彼は今まさに新たな挑戦のスタートラインに立っているのだ。指揮官でロバーツは語る。今季の最重要課題は、大谷を10月に万全の状態でマウンドへ送り出すことだ。ドジャースは、怪我の再発を避けるために、大谷の投球回数を大幅に抑え、慎重な調整を行う計画だと発表した。前代未聞の二刀流が再び完全復活を遂げる日を、全世界が固唾を飲んで待っている。そして、このオフシーズンには新たな怪物が加入した。その名は佐々木朗希だ。世界最高峰のスプリットを武器に、メジャーリーグの未来を背負う若き剛腕が加わり、さらに昨季サイ・ヤング賞を獲得した名投手ブレイク、スネル、そして山本由伸を擁する圧倒的な布陣が完成した。ドジャースの戦力は史上最強と言っても過言ではなく、もはや世界制覇への道を歩み始めているのだ。しかし、すべての中心はあくまで大谷翔平である。彼の存在は、ただの主力ではない。野球史を変える奇跡そのものだ。彼がバットを振れば、地鳴りのような歓声が湧き起こり、マウンドに立てば敵打線は恐怖に震える。打つ、投げる、走る、すべてにおいて超越した才能を持つ彼は、まさに、生ける伝説と呼ぶにふさわしい存在だ。今シーズン、大谷翔平が再び歴史のページを塗り替える姿を、我々は目撃することになるだろう。ドジャースの試合は、単なる試合ではない。それは大谷という伝説が紡ぐ神話の続きである。ファンの皆様、次の試合も絶対に見逃してはならない。生きる伝説、大谷翔平の伝説は、まだまだ終わらないのだから。